Hello, and thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to join me today. I hope that there is something within this video that is a benefit to you or to somebody that you know. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Leave a like down below. Comments do help with the algorithms. I've been doing this for a little over a year. I want to say Happy New Year as I'm filming this at the beginning of the year. I hope that this year finds you in a very productive and beneficial place, a lot more better, and ends this year a lot more better than this year starts. Here's to hoping and good luck. We all know that there's a dispute going on. It's been a few days now with Mr. McCarthy in the Senate and trying to get a Senate speaker. Personally, I think after the first or second time, he kind of got the idea, was willing to make concessions. We need to go ahead, get him voted in, and get moving. If he follows through with the concessions, great. In 2 years, he'll be reelected speaker. If he's not, he gives his opponents 2 years to get ready to take over. So we're not doing this, oh, well, there's these little holdouts. He's already agreed to things I think are beneficial for our country, including such things as ending omnibus packages, going back to line item voting, that everybody must be present at the Senate, or a majority must be present at the Senate, for even votes on issues to be held. Oh, the stuff that's been going on with our government, if you knew. We should be in a place in America where what happens on the government level should not be affecting our daily lives. And yet everywhere we turn, there's the government either, well, let's just say involved somehow with things. Now, recently, as the Democrats were on their way out, they wanted to go give one final hurrah. With our deficit, I believe I heard it was like $6.4 trillion. Back in the 80s, it was only $2 trillion, and that was unheard of. This year alone, with the recent passing of the 541-page omnibus package, which, again, we're still finding out what's in it, and some of this stuff will surprise you, and this is how your money's being spent. And right now, with things going on, they're going to continue to extract the wealth from middle class and low-income people, and they're going to use it on frivolous things. So this one comes to a total of about $2.7 trillion. That'll bring us up to almost $9 trillion in debt. And yet we had Biden saying that the U.S. always pays its debt. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I found a little disturbing, interesting, and shocking. $65 million to replenish Pacific salmon population. $45 billion to Ukraine. That's a total of over $100 billion in 2 years, without any oversight on how it's being spent. As Zelensky, his wife had gone on a $40,000 shopping spree in Paris back in November. So how is our money being spent? There's zero oversight. We have no idea. And we're shipping them tanks now, apparently. This does not bode well for us. $3 million to an LGBTQ plus museum in New York City. Why can't the city pay for it on its own? My life should have no interference. I shouldn't even really care what's going on the government level as long as I'm safe. And they're not interfering in my life. Right now, with Amazon having to fire 18,000 workers, again, that makes the U.S. government the largest employer of U.S. citizens. This is not what our founding fathers intended. Otherwise, Washington would have been king. $272 million for January 6th prosecutions. Our own government prosecuting citizens for what? Trespassing. It's disgusting and it's disgraceful. $306 million for a Michelle Obama nature trail in Georgia. Someone actually lobbied for that. $3.6 million for a trail named after someone with an Adam's apple. $200 million for gender equity training. When are we allowed to have Christian training? When are we allowed to promote Christian training? When are we allowed to promote Christian beliefs and ideas? Just curious, because this wokeism, this kind of cult already existed only back in the Roman Empire. A long story, apparently, and I'm looking into it. 400 million for gender studies in Pakistan. Like, I really care what gender studies in Pakistan. As long as they're not coming over here blowing us up or causing trouble for our allies in the Middle East, I don't care. And our money shouldn't be spent on that stuff. Someone's shaving money off of this, claiming it's pay. 11 million to border security for things like cameras and such so that we can watch the illegal aliens cross the border. Because none of that money is allowed to be used to enforce the border itself or pay for personnel. Part of the reason our border is so insecure right now is because states can't even call their National Guard, because the National Guard was called up by our president and etc., our government, to go protect other countries' borders. So they can't be used here to protect our own borders. Yeah, this is intentional at this point. This isn't stupidity. This is all planned. 1.4 billion in obligations to international multi-level organizations for membership dues. That means like the UN. No. Right now we need to work on America, concentrate more on America as opposed to allowing the UN to enforce its global agenda through the World Economic Forum uses the United Nations to push its global agenda. As I said, I didn't think the Illuminati was real until I looked a little more into the World Economic Forum and their beliefs that you will own nothing and be happy. Right now, Russia is about to have internal strife because Putin, rumor is suffering from cancer and becoming very ill. There may be a civil war in Russia here quicker than we realize. With things going on here in the United States, that leaves China. Last I saw, China was having a little bit of internal trouble themselves right now. They don't let much go out. Media doesn't go out. I don't talk about it for a reason because I've already seen my analytics hit when I speak too much about truths and the United States government. 90 million in global internet freedom of expression. So there's 90 million just gone down the tubes for no reason. 410 million to Egypt, Lebanon, and one other country to help them secure their borders. Why? 3 million to bee-friendly highways. I mean, I know the bees are there's this weird thing about them slowly going extinct, and we don't know why. Maybe it's all the pesticides we're using. Sure, that has nothing to do with it. Then why only 3 million when we're throwing the rest of this money away? Somebody's easily making $1 million off of this. 575 million to family planning. Oh, this one really got to me too. 575 million of your tax dollars. Family planning reproductive health in areas where the human population threatens endangered animals. I'm going to pause for a second just to let that one sink in. That, though it's technically not to be used here in America, that means that in other countries, if the human population, in other words, God saying they go forth and multiply like humans should do, then we're using Planned Parenthood to reduce the population because of some endangered animal. I just got through saying how bees are an endangered species. They really are trying to kill us off. If you don't make a certain amount of money, then obviously you need to go. It's kind of a scary concept. 300,000 to plankton recording research. As silly as it is, I can kind of understand it to some degree. Okay, that one I can kind of see. I mean, there is an idea and value in being able to record the plankton. Then it gets into global warming. So moving on. This one was, I thought, really kind of weird. 26 million to House Department, Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Department. When somebody there is making $26 million to run a Department of Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity. So a Department of Racism in the U.S. government. Oh, man. See, now there's a waste of my money. This one was really cool. 700,000 for Trans-Latin at Coalition. 235 million for the Iditarod Trail in Alaska. Again, Why can't we just let the Alaskans pay for that? Why do we have to use our federal tax money to pay for that? It's a historic thing, but come on, really? Just redo it. Same distance, just redo a new path. $105 million for the restoration of Albany City Hall in New York. Why can't the city do it itself? Why do we need to use taxpayer money? $400,000 for Racial Justice Improvement Coalition. What is this? More money for Jesse Jackson? $65 million to rename a federal building after Nancy Pelosi. Of your tax dollars. It's already an existing building. They're just going to rename it, and it's going to cost $65 million to do it. Because they got to change all the headers on all the papers. Please. That's what pins are for. Just scratch it off. It's Nancy Pelosi. Really? $47,000 for anti-racial training. Oh, sorry. $477,000 for anti-racial training. What happened to the idea of just promoting people based on merit? I don't know. Most companies still kind of do that. Well, at least the company I work for claims it does, as far as the sales department's concerned. So, whatever, I'm still in the top 5. I'm good. $1.2 million for services to DACA recipients, a program from the Obama era that keeps illegal immigrants from being deported. $1.2 million to keep illegal immigrants and giving them Social Security, basically. $4.1 million for various career employment programs for one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, Fairfax. $4.1 million for various career employment programs. You know, not only did somebody lobby for this, but somebody's friends is making a lot of money for doing a lot of nothing. And, of course, that wasn't crazy enough, money allotted to various monuments for journalists and service dogs. Now, the service animals, I can see the service animals. But for journalists, they don't even count me to be a journalist. So, why does Tara Lorenz need a statue? Why does what was it? The lady who did the 1619 Project. Okay, the 1619 Project, written by Nicole Hannah-Jones, a writer from the New York Times. She won a Pulitzer Prize, which basically says that America was founded on the idea of our revolution was fought to keep slavery. Basically, when you boil it down, that's what it's all about. Biggest lie. And then, of course, I was looking it up, and it's funny, there's an actual organization that is credited for founding this project, which is also going to be a series in which supposedly, again, America fought the Revolutionary War to keep slavery. What a biggest bunch of lies. And I'll be more than happy to make an episode here about how that alone is a falsehood. $1 million to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. Like they need it. It's $50 to even get in. So why are we giving them federal money? $286 million to Title X or Title 10 funding. I have no idea. $286 million for what? A little ambiguous. Title 10 funding. $5 million to the Hip Hop Museum in New York. Okay, we won't comment why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame only gets $1 million and the Hip Hop Museum in New York gets $5 million. $3.5 million for the Irish Heritage Festival in Maine. $3.5 million of your tax dollars is going to raid in Maine. I am not amused. $1 million for a stairway to a beach in California. Some of those beaches, but $1 million to build a concrete stairway. Really? Somebody's making a lot of money off of that. $334,000 for preparation for an influenza pandemic. Basically, a flu pandemic. And to cover other spending that may have slipped by you this year, $118K to the National Science Foundation to find out if Thanos could really snap his fingers in the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, I could have saved him a little bit of money and told him you can't snap your fingers in an iron gauntlet. Thank you. Moving on. Again, somebody lobbied for that, and taxpayer money went to find out if Thanos could actually snap his fingers. A study of the romantic pattern of parrots. Why? A study as to why kids love their pets. $2.3 million in a study to study the effects of cocaine on beagle puppies for 6 months. $2.3 million. That's somebody's cocaine habit. $1.1 million to teach mice to drink booze. $1.3 million for a hamster fight club. The study is of the reaction of hamsters on steroids, but basically and make them fight each other while they're on steroids. So a hamster fight club. $192,000 on Starbucks espresso machines in the Pentagon. Oh, what's the matter? Can't leave your desk. $3.5 million for a Mahatma Gandhi Museum in Texas. $2.5 million for a Super Bowl ad telling you to fill out the census. Because, they got to know how many illegal immigrants are actually here to give the money to. $200,000 for a radio campaign reminding drivers to stop at railroad tracks. Yes, don't be stupid. Trains tend to kill. That's simple. $9 million for a yoga park in Galveston, Texas. This one I thought, there's the $4.5 billion in payout to small businesses for PPL, the PPL stuff, most of which went to law firms, people who already have enough money. But they'll tell you they don't. But anyways, $24 million to Broward County, Florida, for a foot spa. $24 million for a foot spa in Florida. Somebody lobbied for that. And then it reported $31.5 million for luxury vehicles for the federal government. This is all tax money stolen from you. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy schedules. I hope, if nothing else, you found the spending of our government at least semi-entertaining. As they kick out the old year and we roll in a new year, claiming there is no inflation. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Leave a comment down below. And thank you very much. United we stand, divided we fall. God bless you, and God bless America.